There's only three things that matter when you are trying to close your first couple clients and get to at least that 10, 20, 30K a month mark with your AI agency. That is lead generation, lead qualification, and getting booked calls. And number three is closing the actual deal and collecting that payment and turning them into a client. So that's exactly what I'm going to be breaking down in this video. And these systems that I'm going to show here are exactly what I used to collect over $600,000 with my AI agency, and then also start a brand new agency, which we started in July, and we have closed over, and we scaled to 14,000 a month in the first 30 days using these exact systems. And so I'm going to show you exactly what that is. So first thing, like I mentioned, is lead generation. And look, there's lead generation, there's lead qualification, and there's closing. You do not worry about closing if you do not have qualified leads coming through and booking calls with you. There's no point to worry about it yet. You do not worry about getting people to book calls if you have no leads coming through. It is redundant, right? You have to imagine it as if it's a pipe, right? And you're trying to get the water to flow all the way through the pipe. And when the water flows all the way through, you have a client who you fulfilled for, you closed successfully. And each part of this, lead generation, lead qualification, and closing, are holes in the pipe. There is no point patching up the third hole when the first two holes aren't even patched up yet and the water's just going to leak out anyway. That's how you need to think about this. And the first hole that we're going to patch is lead generation. So there's a lot of stuff that we're going to go through in the lead generation side. The first thing being, define your target audience. And so what I mean by that is pick the niche you're going to target. Don't overcomplicate it. Pick a niche and stick to it. Another thing is stick to it, because so many people hop from niche to niche. And I'm guilty of this myself in the very beginning, where you're hopping from niche to niche because you get in a niche that you see a lot of people being successful and you're like, oh, this looks pretty easy. You get into it, you start going after that niche, you close the first couple of clients, you realize it's tougher than you thought, and then you see somebody else crushing it in a completely different niche and you're like, oh shit, maybe that niche is even easier. You hop to that niche thinking it's easier, starting from scratch, getting to the exact same point you were in the previous niche. Now you realize, oh shit, this one's tough too. Then you hop to another one and another one. Those are niche hoppers. Don't be a fucking niche hopper. I know so many people who do that, and you essentially stay stuck forever, because every niche has their challenges. You need to pick a niche, learn how to conquer it, get past the challenges in that specific niche so that you become the best in that niche, instead of hopping from niche to niche and being stuck under the 5, 10K a month mark forever. And so now when you're picking a niche for this specifically, what we're doing, we're getting them leads. These companies, right? What we do is we get them leads and we use AI to book their appointments, right? You're going to want to do something like home service. Home service is amazing. Remodeling companies, roofing companies, landscapers, all these types of things, right? You can go after other niches. I like home service personally. The agency that we started from scratch and we scaled to 14K a month in 30 days is going after a home service niche. You can also go after real estate. People crush it in real estate. Marketing agencies, very good as well. They book a ton of appointments. Coaches, medical, these are all appointment heavy. Insurance, these are all very appointment heavy industries, and you can do very well for them. Now, the other thing is the company size, because you don't want to be going after businesses doing 5K a month, because you're not going to be able to get them to pay you 5K a month or 2K a month. You're not going to be able to get them to pay you 10K up front. So you need to be going after businesses that are doing enough. Our minimum qualification is that they're making 600K a year, which equates to about 50K a month, right? Because when we factor in their margins, it's usually about half of that, and then their net is usually even less because of taxes and everything like that. So they're usually, sitting at like 20K, maybe 15K profit, usually about 20K profit if they're making 50K a month with this specific home service business. So you want to take that into account, because you don't want to be going after businesses that are making no money, because how are they going to pay you if they have no money? And so you need to make sure you're getting a good business coming through. And then the pain points. What pain point are you going to target specifically? The pain point we targeted with the home service company was not enough qualified leads being booked into estimates. Very simple. So we handled that. We run their ads. We use AI to book the qualified estimates for them. Simple as that. Is a big thing. Is it speed to lead? Are they not able to get speed to lead? A lot of these will kind of be working hand in hand, right? Like for the niche we're going after in the home service space, they don't have enough qualified leads and estimates coming through, which also they don't have enough people getting to the leads right away. So speed to leads also an issue. Missed calls is also an issue. Slow sales process is also slightly an issue, right? They all kind of go hand in hand. And bad lead follow-up system also part of that, right? But these are the main pain points that you're going to want to target. It's very difficult to sell somebody on something like a customer service AI agent, which you see everywhere. Sell this N8N template that fucking responds to emails to this company for 10 grand. It's very difficult to do that, because you answering my emails, for example, with an N8N agent, okay, cool. Do I get a crazy ROI for spending 10 grand or 5 grand on that? No. Do I get a good return on investment if I pay 5 grand a month to a company to book me more appointments, which therefore leads to more revenue where I can see direct tangible ROI? Yes. It's very difficult to sell something to somebody when the outcome that they're benefiting from is they're saving more time or their life's getting a bit easier. Don't worry, you can sell it to people, but it's going to be more it's going to be easier and better worth your time to sell something to somebody where it's like, okay, you're going to make this amount of money. You're going to make this amount of a return. You're going to 10x your money by making this investment, et cetera, right? An exact tangible outcome is way easier to sell than just some kind of vague thing that's kind of left up to interpretation. Now, building the magnetic offer. And so this is something where we're going to use AI because AI is hot, right? AI sells. But you can't just sell an AI voice agent as easy as you could 16 months ago. Hey, when we started, our first 30K a month was just selling AI voice agents. Then it got to the point where we realized, okay, it's tougher now. This is becoming a commodity almost. So you sell the out. For us, we're going to get these home service companies 50 estimates booked per month. And we use AI to do that. We run their ads and use AI. So we have AI booking appointments, SMS, and phone calling. It is also qualifying these leads. You can do things like AI client onboarding assistant, but I wouldn't sell this as a main offer. Have this as an upsell. Your main offer is going to want to be these. And this is essentially one thing, right? And then what you do is when you onboard them, you have these as upsells. Hey, we have this for an extra whatever, $500 a month or $250 a month or $1,000 a month. We can build this in for you. Now, if they say no, fine, they're already a client. You close them. If they say yes, boom, you just added an extra $12K a year in lifetime value to your client, right? If they stick around for 6 months, you had an extra $6,000 in lifetime value to your client by upselling them on this. Hey, we also have a customer support agent that can handle all your inbound calls and book appointments for you. It's $500 a month. Would you like it? No. If they say no, okay, great. You're in the exact same position. You close them for $2K a month, $3K a month. If they say yes, boom, you just add an extra $500 a month in monthly recurring revenue. They stay for 6 months. That's an extra $3K in lifetime value for that client. Oh, AI reactivation campaigns. This is something you should probably do just anyway for a client, but you can even upsell this. Hey, we'll build an automation that reactivates your database every month. It's $250 a month. Hey, we'll sell you SEO for $250 a month. You can add all these upsells in there so that when you're onboarding the client, it's like, hey, do you want this? Do you want this? Yes, no, no, no. Okay, cool. No worries. Now we just made an extra $500 a month off this client and we got them on an upsell, right? So very, very useful to have that in place. Now, how are we going to acquire these clients? There's a few main channels, right? First, you'll cover the organic content side, like this YouTube video, for example. This YouTube video, sure, it's informative. I'm giving value. I'm showing you how to do certain things, right? But it's very unpredictable because one video can crush it. One video cannot do so well. One video might get a ton of views, but very low amount of quality views and people that actually schedule in the calls. I've had videos that got 100 views, but we closed a fucking 10K client from or a 5K client from just because it may have been 100 views, but it was quality views and we got people interested. And so this content is great. Short form, Instagram, TikTok should be designed to push people to your long form, your YouTube videos. If you see my Instagram account, I post almost every day on Instagram. And in my bio, I'm sending people to my YouTube because I know YouTube converts way better. We build more trust. You see me as an actual human being. This is probably going to be like a 20, 30-minute video. It's a long form piece where I'm showing you everything inside of here. I'm laying out a lot of value. And I mean, I hope I'm laying out a lot of value for you. And you're seeing me as a human being, right? Because you buy from people you know, like, and trust. You don't buy from people that you just see like a 30-second Instagram video from, right? If you see enough of them, maybe, but YouTube is the main selling point because you see them as an actual person, right? You can see me as an actual person. I'm providing value. I know what I'm talking about, all that type of stuff, right? But organic content is not a thing where you just post a video and boom, you're making 20 grand a month from your videos, right? It takes months, right? Weeks, sometimes weeks, but usually months, even years to start seeing real tangible value coming from your YouTube. I think it took us 4 or 5 months to our first closed deal directly from YouTube and Instagram, maybe even longer. But what YouTube is amazing for is when people book through cold outreach or paid ads, we send them our YouTube videos in the nurturing to warm them up because it builds a ton of trust. Now, even though we don't have a ton of people that are coming from our YouTube organically, every single person who books a call has watched a YouTube video one way or another, which is amazing, built a lot of trust. Now, the organic content side aside, we're talking about cold outreach and paid ads now. So of course, paid ads is going to be way. There's no way around it. Paid ads is amazing, very scalable. If you put $1 in, get $5 out, that's about the average that we had. For the 600K that you saw in there, we've collected closer to about 700 total. We spent about 150K on ads. And so that leads to a good return on ad spend, right? And so if you can put $1 in and get $5 out, you might only have $100. Okay, but you put $100 in, you get $500 out. Now you put 500 in, you get 2,500 out. You put 2,500 in, you get 12,500 out. You put 12,500 in, you get 60 out, right? Or 62,500 out. And so if you can consistently put $1 in and get $5 out, you're sitting very, very good. But let's say you don't have money. You're going to have to do cold outreach. It fucking sucks. I did that at the beginning. When I dropped out of school, I had no money. So I sat there and did hours and hours of cold DMs every single day. I would pull up a list of all the states, all the cities in every state across the US. And I would search med spas in San Francisco, med spas in Sacramento, med spas in San Diego, and I would DM every single one of them. I messaged every single med spa on Facebook multiple times across the whole US. And that's why I closed my first 10 clients total. And so does it suck? Absolutely. Did I know it was going to work eventually no matter what? Yes. And that's what kept me going, but it sucks and you have to do it. If you have no money, you're forced to spend your time. So cold emails using lead scrapers, power dialers, AI dialers, cold emails using Instantly, lead scrapers, etc. Cold DMs is what I did. Go to bulk accounts buy. I bought 10 Instagram account or 10 Facebook accounts, proxysale.com is where you buy the proxies. You hook them up to the Facebook account. If you want a video showing this, it's in our free school community. I'll link that down below. The proxy sale is proxies to hook up to each Facebook account so they don't get banned because they're all yours, technically have. Then you get Hide My Account, which is a software to connect all of that. And you can have 10 Facebook accounts. You can send 11 DMs per account before they have to cool down. So you can do about 110 at once. I would do that 3 to 5 times a day, sending 300 to 500 DMs a day, usually getting a 1% booking rate, 0.5% booking rate. If I sent 500 DMs, I would get 2 to 5 bookings. And usually 3 of those would show up, or 1 to 3 of those would show up, and I'd close one. And so that was my kind of, in my mind, I knew if I sent 500 DMs, it would result in roughly one closed client, give or take. And so the paid ad side of things now, paid ads is bread and butter. Once you have money, if you have 1 to 2K, which is the minimum I recommend, 1 to 2K, you get into paid ads. And so the reason paid ads are so effective is because it doesn't take a lot of time. Our ads are running right now. I don't have to continually do stuff for it. We get leads coming through nonstop, and I don't need to do much with it. And so the paid ad side, you're going to need to create creatives, whether that's ChatGPT. You can go into ChatGPT and say, create me a ad that says we'll get you 10 roofing bookings per month or your money back with a roofer standing on a roof. You'll get a relatively nice ad creative in there, and you'll probably get 30 to 40 dollar cost per lead, and you'll maybe get 1 out of 5 to 10 book if you're calling them all the time. You close 1 out of 5, let's say, or 1 out of 10, even if you're bad at closing in the beginning, and you're spending about maybe $1,000 to $1,500 to get your first client. That's probably going to be 2 to 3K a month, and you learned how to do it. And so you want to have that first 1 to 2K. People are always very blunt with ads. People think that somebody who's never run ads before is going to get in there with no knowledge, nobody helping them, and they're just going to put $500 into ads and they're going to start closing. That's very unlikely, especially if you've never run ads in your life. You're going to need to prepare. 1 to 2K is going to be kind of your test budget. You're going to start with that. And ideally, you close your first client. If you're working with somebody who knows how, like us, for example, you will close your first client with 1 to 2K in ads. And if you do want to work with us, click the link below, book a call with us. We'll help you scale. But nonetheless, you've never run ads before. You're doing this on your own. You need to be prepared that 1 to 2K is going to be kind of your experimental budget almost. You're going to use ChatGPT to create your primary text, ChatGPT to create your headlines. You're going to target the interest based on your niche. You will eventually use retargeting setups. Once you've generated a lot of leads, you'll set up an ad campaign targeting those leads that you've generated, putting yourself in front of them over and over again. And you will optimize for cost per qualified booked appointment. Cost per lead is something everybody focuses on, when in reality, it's, keep it in mind, but the only metric that really matters is cost per qualified booked appointment. I don't care if I'm getting $2 leads if it's spending me $1,000 to get 1 qualified booked appointment, right? Right now, I think we're getting $35 leads, I believe, but we're getting about $150 per qualified booked appointment, which I'm very, very happy with. I'll take that any day. And so that's just to break down the traffic channels. We'll go more depth in the ad campaign in the next section here for lead qualification. Or actually, I think we will right here. Yeah. So how do we capture these leads efficiently? So you're going to be running the ad, right? The ad is there. The lead clicks the ad. They're going to get sent to a VSL or an opt-in page. And I will show you what that looks like. This right here is an example of an opt-in page. This is the one we used. And so very simple. You don't want to have a ton of friction on here. As you can see, there's not much on here. What we have is a form to capture their information. First name, last name, phone, email. Are you in our specific niche? Simple as that. And then they fill that out and they get sent to a calendar page. And look, you can also, when you're first starting out, you're probably going to want to use a Facebook lead form. That is a form to capture their name, email, phone number in Facebook itself. You'll usually get cheaper cost per lead, and then you'll just send them straight to this calendar page. The calendar page, very simple, where they book their call. A couple qualifying questions, that's it. And then they get sent to a thank you page. The thank you page is where we're getting them to confirm their call. Very, very important. You need to have a good thank you page. This massively increases your show up rate. So confirm your call over text and confirm your call on the actual Google invite. And so you can experiment. A lot of niches are going to want to have a video here. We had a video here. Then we realized home service guys, they don't fucking watch the video at all. So we just took it out and our show up rate increased even. Our show up rate's about 90% right now, about 88%. And so very happy with that with the home service. And so that's an example of the funnel. Then when they fill out the form for let's say you're targeting roofers. You ask a question, are you a roofing company doing over 50K a month? If they say no, boom, they get sent to the disqualification page and they can't book. If they say yes, they go to the calendar and they book a slot. They'll get confirmation emails, confirmation calls, confirmation texts. They will confirm the call, and then the triager, for example, somebody will call the lead, whether it's you, maybe it's just you if you're solo, or you have a triager, calls the lead, gets information about the lead, further qualifies him, and submits a form. This form with all the information about the lead will get sent to the closer. And then the closer will take a look and be like, oh, okay, cool. This guy's, he's been struggling with marketing. He's struggling to get more than 10 jobs a month for his roofing company. He has tried Google ads. He hasn't tried Facebook ads. Bunch of information. He is a 3 out of 4 qualification, right? Because we want to give him a ranking. 1, they're canceled immediately. 4 means they're pretty much ready to pay. So you'll see a lot of guys that are 2 or 3s, right? They're hesitant, they're interested, but they don't really know what they need help with, right? And so that's the whole point of you closing. When it comes to the actual ad campaign structure itself, let's zoom out a little bit. So the way we're going to set it up, this is going to be a brief example of how to set up an ad campaign, find what your winners are. And so let's say we are going after roofers. So we're going to create the ad campaign, which is this whole box here, right? And the ad campaign houses the ad sets. And then inside of the ad sets, it houses the ad. And so the ad is this whole section here, right? I didn't outline it because of the fact that since the way we're setting this up with dynamic creative optimization, the ad is all of this stuff here inside of the ad set. But the ad is technically one level lower than the ad set. If you've run Facebook ads, you know that. So we're going to run a leads campaign, and we're going to be targeting roofers. So we're going to pick 3 interests because we want to see, okay, what interest is going to be the best performer? We're going to target roofers. I know there's one that's like roofing contractors, which you might think is the exact same as roofers, but it's going to actually be quite different in terms of how it performs. And then there might be one, I'm just going to make one up, roofs. So let's see. Those are 3 example interests, right? We want to see, okay, what's going to perform the best? Roofers, roofing contractors, or roofs? But for us to know which one is the interest that's performing the best, all the other variables need to be the exact same, right? Because if we're running completely different ad creatives in each one, we don't know if the reason roofing contractors wins, let's say, is because of the interest or the ad creative itself, right? So we need everything else to be the exact same. And so we use dynamic creative optimization. And what that is, DCO for short, what DCO does for Facebook ads is it allows you to add multiple ad creatives, multiple primary texts, and multiple headlines into each ad set. And Facebook will mix and match all of them together to see what performs the best. So that way we can simultaneously be testing out the interests, see what performs best, while also keeping all the variables the same, but also being able to test which ad creative performs the best, which primary text performs the best, which headline performs the best, and then the CTA is always learn more, just always. Now, let's say after 2 weeks of running these ads, we see, okay, roofers was the winner. So we're going to take the roofers and we're going to create a new campaign, new leads campaign, and we're going to be targeting roofers. We don't need dynamic creative optimization now because we have winners. Now we're going to say roofers won. And now out of these 3, let's say ad creative 2 was the best performer across all 3 of these. So we know, okay, ad creative 2, that's our winner. That's our winning ad creative. We'll take it. And then we'll say primary text was the winning primary text. So we take that, add it to the winning campaign. And let's say headline 3 was the winner. We'll take that, add it to here, and then learn more always. So these are the winners, right? Roofers was the best interest. Best creative was creative 2. Best primary text was text 1. Best headline was headline 3. So we'll take all of these, launch a new campaign, and this is our quote unquote winning campaign. And then we'll have probably 75-80% of our budget going to these winners. Then we'll use our other 20-25% of our budget to keep testing different combinations and see what hits the numbers that we want to see. That's how you test different ad campaigns, essentially, different creatives, copy, etc. And so at scale, you'll be testing a shit ton. Like when we start a new client, we're testing 20 to 30 different ad creatives within the first few days, right? Just to see very quickly what's performing best. We're testing a shit ton, right? As you scale, you'll be testing a ton. But if you only have like $50 a day to spend, you'll probably want to do just these 3, right? Maybe $20 per, so $60 a day, right? Give or take, just to kind of lay out. So I hope that made sense. If you have any questions about that, just leave a comment below. I'll respond to you. I know if you've never run ads before, this might just seem super fucking confusing. I remember when I first learned Facebook ads, it seemed crazy, but it doesn't take long to get used to it. So if you have any questions about this, just comment below, I'll respond. Now, setting up automated nurturing sequences is very, very important. When a lead opts in, you need to make sure you're texting them within the first 30 seconds. We send it instantly. So email and SMS immediately, retargeting ads eventually, right? That's what retargeting ads are. When you have people opting into your ads, right, you're collecting their name, email, phone number, they become a lead. You have these leads that eventually fill up your database, right? You can run retargeting ads, which is your ads, but you can have your ads being shown to that list of leads. So they've already opted in, they've already seen you, and then you can keep having them see your ads pretty much forever. AI calls and daily follow-ups, etc. So that right there was lead generation. I know that took a little bit, but that's pretty much the heaviest phase right there because it's the building blocks, right? If you don't have leads, you're fucked. And so we need to make sure we're getting leads. So I hope that all made sense. Now, phase 2 is lead qualification. So pre-qualification, right? There's a couple things. One is short applications and qualification forms. And I already briefly showed you this, right? On the opt-in page, right? You have their name, email, phone number, and then a quick question. Are you a roofing company? That's a very basic qualification just to filter out anybody who's not a roofing company, right? Because if you're targeting roofers, you don't want non-roofing companies coming through. So we put that there. Very basic qualification because you don't want to have too much friction at the beginning there and be filtering out a ton of leads. Because you might have some, if you have a bunch of questions on that initial lead form, your cost per lead is going to be very high because it's so much friction for them to go through, right? So you want to leave that pretty frictionless. And the other section you have, qualifications will be most likely on your calendar page where you have a bunch of qualifications about, hey, how much are you making? What's been your biggest struggle, et cetera, et cetera. What's your goal, right? That type of stuff. You've seen that, right? If you booked a call with us, you've seen. And so all that there. So the triage call, after a lead comes through or after they book, there's two. Triage call is after a lead comes through and you're trying to book them in, and a confirmation call is after the lead's booked in, but you want to further qualify. And so I will talk about both here. So the triage call, you pretty much do the same. So the triage call, you're calling them, it's going to be probably a 5 to 15 minute call, almost like a first call, essentially, like out of a 2-call close type of system. So you're going to get to know about their current situation. Why are they even reaching out? What's their current situation? What's their biggest pain point? And you're going to do the main 3 qualifications. Are they financially qualified? Are they time qualified, meaning they want to get started with this immediately and they're not looking to start like 6-12 months down the line? And are all decision makers going to be on the call? The triager will submit a form after he got all that information and went through the call with all of that information right there. So as you can see, this is what our triager will submit. It pings the closer, so the closer knows to come take a look here. And then they get a rating, right? So as you can see, financially qualified, yes. When do they want to move forward? ASAP. Are they the decision maker / will all decision makers be on the call? Because sometimes people have business partners, right? Yes. How qualified are they? 3 out of 4. And so like I mentioned, we use a 4-digit ranking system. 1, they're disqualified immediately, cancel the call. 2, above 1, 3, and then 4. 4 is pretty much, hey, they're ready to pay immediately. When it comes to the BAMP framework here, this is the main things we want to focus on, right? And I kind of just spoke about this, but these are the main qualifications, right? Budget, meaning, are they only making $1,000 a month? Because odds are they're not going to have 10 grand to invest, right? But maybe they do. So you need to find that out. Are they making 30K a month? And they most likely will have 10K a month, but sometimes they won't if they spend their money like they're fucking stupid, right? And we've seen that. I've seen people who are making 100K a month and they don't even have 5K to invest. Now, authority, are they the decision makers, right? Or are all decision makers going to be on the call? Need, do they actually need this? Because if they have 10K to invest, if they are the decision maker and they want to get started immediately, but they're a plumbing company, then they're not going to need your roofing services, right? Your lead generation for roofing companies. And so that's important. They actually need this service. Timing, are they looking to start immediately? You don't want to book a call with somebody who is an amazing prospect other than the fact that they just can't take this on right now. Maybe they're way too busy, but they want to start with this in their slow season, right? For example. And so you just need to make sure that all of that lines up. Then disqualify, qualify. So based on everything you just went through there, you need to decide, are they either qualified or disqualified? And look, one thing to keep in mind is it's better to take the call to find out they're disqualified when you're unsure before than to cancel somebody because you're unsure, but they could have been qualified. So keep that in mind as well. But it sucks if you cancel somebody, which eventually, you never know, right? They could have closed if you were a little on the fence. So always just take the call with people. And if they're really unqualified, end the call within the first few minutes. Now, we got lead generation and lead qualification out of the way. Now let's get into, in my opinion, the most fun part, which is the closing. Let's collect this fucking money, all right? So how do we do this? Because you have leads coming through. You have qualified leads now being booked into your calendar. How do we close these guys and get them to give us their money, right? So this is how we go through it. 1 call close process, right? A 1 call close is ideally the way you want to go because the quicker you get the close, amazing, right? If you're selling something under 5 grand, 1 call close. If you're selling something that's like 10, 15, 20 grand, you might need to do a 2 call close, but it does depend on a lot of variables, right? And so the 1 call close process, you're going to show up with that triage report in hand, this thing right here that I just showed you with all the information about the prospect. So you know exactly what to expect. You're going to position yourself as the authority. You need to speak confidently. You need to speak like you run this call. This is your call. It's not their call. They booked with you. You run this call. You need to make that very clear. Not as an asshole, right? You're not going to be a dick, but you're going to just speak with authority, speak with confidence. Let them know how this call is going to go. Build some rapport. Be friendly, right? Like I said, be confident, but still be friendly. Like I'm trying to make these guys laugh within the first few minutes. If you turn these guys into a friend, they're going to close. They're going to close. So if you can make them laugh, you can relate to them in some way. If I see something in the background of their screen on a Zoom call, then I'll always mention that if I can connect with it, whatever, right? Where they're from. Oh, I have family out there. Even if I don't have family out there, sometimes I'll say, oh, I have family out there. I haven't been there in a long time. It's amazing, right? And they're like, oh, that's amazing. Build rapport. Be a human being, right? You want to be a human because you want to connect with these people, right? If you're actually trying to help these people, be a human being. You want to come from a place of actually wanting to be friends with them and help them scale their business, provide a valuable service. And then discovery. So discovery is you're finding out everything about them, right? Which I'll cover in a second here, as you can see. Discovery. Pitch is, of course, you're pitching the actual service, what you're going to do. And then objection handling when they say, oh, yeah, this is amazing, but I need to go talk to my wife. Or, oh, this is amazing, but it's too much money. Then you handle the objection. Then you close the deal, you collect the payment, submit the sales report form, and you hand over the client to the CSM. So what is the sales report form? Very similar to the triage form, except where the triage form is handing off the prospect from the triager to the closer, the sales report form is handing off the prospect from the closer to the client success manager. And if you're starting solo, you're going to be all these, right? So what this does is after the call is closed, they submit the form. And as you can see, it pings the client success manager. A new client has been closed. Make sure to give them their welcome call in the next 60 minutes. The welcome call is pretty much just a 2-minute call where the CSM is calling them, getting super excited. Oh, hey, John, I'm super excited to have you in, the partner program. Can't wait to help you scale your agency. Jackson, the closer, or Jacob, who is the closer. Jacob said that you were struggling with this, this, and this. You picked the right spot to come in. We've helped so many people solve that exact problem, and I can't wait to help you do the exact same thing. By the way, my name is Josh. I'm going to be your client success manager. I'm going to be the one onboarding you in a couple days or in tomorrow when you booked your call. I can't wait to start working with you, man, and let's crush it. All right, have a good one. See ya. Bye. You just build up the momentum, you get them super hyped up, super excited. And then they have all this information about the prospect, how much they paid, did they pay in full, what was the closing angle, et cetera, et cetera. And now the discovery process, right? So when it comes to discovery, you're just trying to find out their current situation. What's their main pain? Why did they get on this call? There's always a reason. If people say, well, I was just interested, shut the fuck up. There's a reason you got on this call. And if the reason is just to find out, they're probably not going to close. But they have a serious reason for getting on this call. Why did they book this call in the first place? What got you looking into using AI for your business? How long have you been looking into using AI? How long have you been experiencing this problem? What got you to take action on implementing AI now instead of when the problem first came up 3 months ago? How is this problem affecting the business? How is this problem affecting your life outside of the business? What would the business look like if this problem were solved? What would your life look like if this problem were solved? And those are just a few basic discoveries. Because the goal of discovery is to find their pain point, find out what their desired outcome is, and then eventually bridge the gap between the two and lead into the pitch, which is where you're showing them that your solution is the way to get. Bridge the gap between their current bridge the gap between their current problem and the solution. Show them the AI can solve the problem. Show them what things will look like when they do solve this problem with the AI. Walk through the implementation process for their specific build. Set proper expectations on timelines and deliverables. Always under promise, over deliver. When I close these guys, I tell them, yeah, the first 10 days is us building everything, setting everything up, and the first week is us testing everything. And so it'll usually be by week 3 when things really start picking up. I say that because realistically, it takes us like 5 to 7 days to set everything up, about 5 days to test everything. So that's about 10 days from the 3 weeks that I mentioned, right? So it's a lot quicker than I let them know, but I don't sell it in a way where it's like, oh, it's going to take us 2 months to build everything, because that's too much of under promising, right? You can still make it appealing, but I slightly under promise and massively over deliver with the service, because you can tell somebody that you're going to get them 50 booked appointments, but if you get them 40, they're going to be pissed. But if you tell them you're going to get them 20 and you get them 30, they will be more happy with that 30 compared to the 20 you told them than if you get them 40 when you told them 50. You need to under promise and over deliver. Now, how do we objection handle, right? When somebody says, hey, this is too much money for me, right? That's the classic. Oh, this is a lot of money. This is a great thing. This is a lot of money. So first thing is we're going to be using NLP frameworks, neuro-linguistic programming. This is psychology based, very, very effective way to handle objection. Now, first thing is mirroring. So how? You repeat the keywords they use to validate their experience. Very first thing. Why? Because people feel safe when they are understood and when you mirror their concern. Oh man, my money's just super tight right now. I don't know if I can afford this. Oh man, I completely understand that money's tight, right? And so I don't want to be putting you in a position, right? I don't want you to make an investment like this and then you're left out on the street, right? With your wife hating you, right? You and your wife under a cardboard box or under a bridge, right? That's the last thing I want. Something like that, right? You make a little joke. And then you clarify their beliefs. How? You ask precision questions to uncover the belief underneath. Why? Objections usually mask a deeper limiting belief. I'm not sure I can succeed rather than the offer is bad, right? So if they say that, hey, their finances are the issue, like, oh, I don't have enough money, you say what I just said there, yada, yada, yada. Oh yeah, I understand finances issue. I don't want to put you in a tough financial position by any means. And so when you say finances are an issue, does that mean you're not willing to get resourceful to put yourself in a better position? Just to kind of dig a bit deeper and see, is it a matter of they're just a little nervous about this, or is it just, they actually don't have the money? Or you can even say, okay, money aside, this is kind of the classic, money aside, do you even feel like this can actually help you get to where you're wanting to go? And they'll be like, oh yeah, I do, man. Like, and then they'll be like, oh, why? Like, oh, well, the coaching call, you guys have all the modules, you guys, you do this, everything I'm looking for, yada, yada, yada. Then you reframe. Now, how you shift their perspective without invalidating their feelings. You never want to invalidate their feelings or they're going to fucking hate you, even if you're right. And so why? Problems are problems because of the frame they're seen through. And so you reframe and you say, do you mind if I offer you a bit of a perspective on this, John? Because I am on your side, by the way. I want you to know that. Then they'll be like, yeah, for sure. I don't mind. And you'll be like, okay. And so I'm curious, do you think you not having the finances or being a bit short or finding the finances to be a bit of an issue, is that the problem or is that a symptom of the problem? And he'll be like, I don't know. Or he'll be like, that's the problem. And then you'll say, okay, well, what if I told you that not having the finances is actually the symptom, not the problem itself? Because the problem is that you don't have the skills to be making 20, 30K a month in your agency. Because if you had those skills, what would you have more of? Like, I'd have more money. Exactly. So the finances is not the actual problem. The finances is the symptom of the problem, which is you not having the agency or the skills to build your agency to the point where you're making 20, 30K a month. Is that fair to say? Like, yeah, that is pretty fair to say. Now you can lead into the fourth thing, which is future pacing. How? Guide them visually, visualizing success. And why people make decisions based on how they imagine their future. It's where you're painting the picture, right? Painting the dream. And so we'll say, and so John, you were to continue making decisions based on the symptom instead of the problem, where do you think that would leave you? Probably in the same position. Well, is that where you want to be? Or would you want to be the person who's making active decisions based on the problem instead of the symptom, to be able to put yourself in that position where you're making 20, 30K a month with your agency? You and your wife are able to travel all over the world with your daughter that you mentioned you just had, and you'll be able to do all these things and show them the whole world, show them everything that you wanted to see as a kid that you weren't able to, and be able to provide this amazing life for your family. And they'll be like, yeah, I do want to do that. I would rather be that type of person. And then you anchor the positive states. How? Bring them back into a peak emotional state from earlier in the conversation. Why? Emotional states drive buying decisions more than logic. So John, that version of you who's doing all those amazing things, providing an amazing life for your family, what decision do you think they make here and now to know that when they go to bed tonight, when your head hits the pillow, you know you did everything you possibly could to be able to put your family in the best position you can? And he'll be like, that version of me, well, he'd probably get started to invest in the skills and invest in himself. Like, okay, so what are you going to do here then, John? Like, oh, let's do it. Like, you don't have to. You don't have to. You can keep doing what you're doing. They're like, no, I want to do it. Let's do it. And then you've closed. And so not all of them go like that, but that's just kind of a cookie cutter way to go through those NLP frameworks there. And now close the deal, collect the payment, trigger the onboarding process, hand over the client to the CSM. So that's everything right then and there. A quick overview, a nutshell. I think this video went quite a bit longer than I was expecting, but I like that it went pretty in depth. So first thing is the lead generation. Get the leads coming through, qualify them, schedule them in, and 3, simple as that. So if you guys want us to help you, I will work with you personally. My team will help you implement all of this stuff that I just said here. Click the link below, book a call with us. And if you're serious, we will help you scale. If you're a good fit, we will scale your agency with these exact systems I showed here, because this is exactly what I use to scale. So go ahead, click that like button, subscribe, because I'm going to be posting so many of these twice a week from here on out. I hope this provided a ton of value, and I'll see you in the next one.